Now on Coast TV News.
Battle over Millsboro substation
really sets a dangerous precedent.
While Delaware lawmakers debate a bill connected to alternative energy, one advocacy group is blaming Republicans for recent power failures.
Delaware budget nearly done, the focus of the state's new spending plan that awaits Governor Matt Meyer's signature.
Bathhouse upgrades facing opposition, the continued clash for what DENREC officials say are needed improvements for its lifeguards.
A stormy start to the week for Delmarva. Some of the storms could be strong to severe. Looking good for the end of the week as we head into the 4th of July. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is Monday, June 30th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Final day of June.
Hard to believe, yeah.
It greets us with some thunder and lightning, some loud stuff just before we went on the air.
Yes, driving in this morning, saw the lightning in the sky. It's always, I like thunderstorms, but not when I'm driving. It's creepy to see the lightning.
And you can just hear those boomers come outside our studio here.
Got really loud about an hour ago.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in first meteorologist Bob Trihey. Good morning, Bob. We're welcomed by some storms today.
Indeed. Good morning, Elisa and Matt. We don't mind the noise. It's the severe weather that we're worried about, and we didn't see that this morning, but we saw those storms from southwest to northeast, some heavy rain, vivid lightning, and now those storms have moved offshore. You can see they're well off the Delaware coast now. Maybe a little shower getting going around Gumboro. Otherwise, things are quieting down with another cluster of storms across South Jersey, but it looks like nothing to our west or southwest now, so we do get a break as we have a stationary boundary to our north. To the south of it, it is very warm and muggy, and once again, this front is the focus for some of these showers and storms. Starting out very warm once again into the mid-70s, and it's that area you can wear it. Dew points in the low to mid-70s. So this morning, very muggy. Take it slow out there. Then temperatures quickly rising through the 80s this morning. By noon, we're right around 90, but feeling much warmer with the humidity, with 80s at the beaches, even 92 in Lewis by mid-afternoon, 93 in Millsboro, 92 in Delmarva. Could see more afternoon showers and storms. Otherwise, feels like temperatures this afternoon near 100 inland areas. So once again, take it slow. A little bit of relief at the coast. Day part forecast has us warm and muggy. I think we're looking at more afternoon showers and storms, and still very warm and muggy the next few days. More storms in the forecast, but looking much better by the 4th of July. I'll have all the details coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. And we're now getting a live look at Delaware's capital city of Dover. It is the last legislative day this year in the General Assembly as we await a flurry of votes on a number of bills. There are several this year that have a direct impact on Sussex County, and that is our top story this hour. So let's start with Senate Bill 159. This is the one that would override the County Council's decision to ban an electric substation in Millsboro. On June 10th, it passed the Senate along party line votes. It's now in the House of Representatives.
Some people claim that this bill overrides local control, but it doesn't do that, because the county councils they decide zoning. They've already decided on the zoning. They just need to abide by it.
Really sets a dangerous precedent to say, hey, if the state doesn't like how your local representatives make a decision, then we now have a precedent to show where we can overrule that one decision that we don't like.
And with Democrats holding a 26-14 margin in the House, an approval of the bill is expected, which then sends it to Governor Matt Meyer to sign into law.
The controversy over the bill spilled over into the $977 million capital improvement bill, better known as the bond bill. It requires 3/4 of the Senate to approve it, and the Republicans had the votes to block it. And here's what the Delaware Sierra Club posted about the bond bill defeat and its connection to the Millsboro substation bill. Quote, while the Senate GOP is holding the bond bill hostage to shut down offshore wind, Sussex is having active brownouts in areas that wouldn't be facing that problem if U.S. wind were online and connected to Delaware. And this led to a response by Representative Shoup. There are no brownouts, and recent power outages in Lewis had nothing to do with the lack of offshore wind or the Senate Republicans. The Sierra Club knows this, yet they are willfully spreading false information to manipulate public opinion, blaming Senate Republicans for a local utility issue we have nothing to do with. And a more in-depth look at some of those key bills introduced this year in the Delaware General Assembly and their status is found right now on CoastTV.com.
Not much drama when it comes to the fiscal year 2026 budget. It just needs the signature of Governor Matt Meyer for implementation. Last week, the General Assembly passed a $6.5 billion plan, and it includes a 2% raise for teachers. Over $89 million will go towards state employee benefits and post-employment investments. It's expected that Governor Meyer will sign it. After all, the new fiscal year begins tomorrow.
And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. The showdown in Congress over the so-called Big Beautiful Bill continues this morning. And hours of debate are underway, which is followed by the option for senators to offer unlimited amendments and then a final vote.
Yeah, Republicans are trying to steer the 940-page domestic policy legislation through the Senate. NBC's Alice Barr shows us they are nearing a self-imposed July 4th deadline.
Today, one big debate on President Trump's massive domestic policy package known as the One Big Beautiful Bill. This morning, senators starting a vote-a-rama when they can offer unlimited amendments to change the bill before a vote on final passage. Democrats making their objections clear late into the night.
This legislation is the most significant attack on the health care needs of the American people in our country's history.
The bill includes cuts to programs like Medicaid that the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates would cost more than 11 million Americans their health care. Republicans argue changes like new work requirements will make the program stronger in the long run.
We want them to be safety nets, not hammocks that people stay in, but getting people on their feet.
Republican Senator Tom Tillis opposes the Medicaid cuts and on Saturday voted against a key procedural vote, though the bill still advanced 51-49. On Sunday, after scathing criticism from President Trump, Tillis announced he won't seek re-election. Asked if there's room in the GOP to disagree with the president.
If you have the courage to, and if you don't, there isn't.
Democrats also objecting to extended tax cuts, part of why the bill's expected to add more than $3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years.
Using fake math and budgetary hocus pocus to make it seem like a gargantuan tax break for billionaires is going to cost virtually nothing. That's insane.
Republicans largely lockstep.
It's going to make us all more prosperous.
Looking to press ahead with the Trump agenda. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
This just in, President Trump took to social media early this morning saying that he would not be offering Iran anything, and he's calling out Delaware Senator Chris Coons. The Post reiterated his assertion that the United States had, quote, totally obliterated Tehran's nuclear facilities. On Friday, President Trump dismissed reports that he said his administration had discussed possibly helping Iran access as much as $30 billion to build a civilian energy-producing nuclear program.
Authorities say a man has been found dead on a mountain in Idaho. It's where 2 firefighters were killed on Sunday. The man was not immediately identified as a suspect in what officials are calling an ambush shooting. Members of a SWAT team did find the man's body along with a firearm. Sunday afternoon, firefighters came under fire while responding to a brush fire. Police say the ambush killed 2 firefighters. Another one was taken to a local hospital for injuries.
A Crisfield man is now facing charges as Maryland State Police are accusing him of a deadly shooting that happened in Somerset County back in April. According to troopers, 28-year-old Taryn Lee Ivy was arrested Friday morning in Seaford by Delaware State Police. He's charged with first-degree murder, second-degree attempted murder, assault, reckless endangerment, and several firearm charges. Police say the victim, 20-year-old Evan Neal of Crisfield, was found shot in a home on Cove Street on April 25th and was pronounced dead at the scene.
New this morning, the latest effort for upgrades at Cape Henlopen State Park, and this one deals with the McBride Bathhouse. It's a building that is nearly 50 years old. NREC says the bathrooms are outdated and there's just not enough space for lifeguards. Proposed plans late last year called for the construction of a new bathhouse on a nearby dune, and that was opposed by local environmental groups. People CoastTV spoke with are mixed about the state of the bathhouse.
The bathhouse definitely needs work. It's kind of almost shameful at times. It's so loaded with flies and sand.
I think it's very adequate the way it is. I mean, I don't shower here and I hardly get any snacks here, but I use the bathroom, that's about all. But I never see people waiting online for anything, so.
And DENREC secured $1 million for fiscal year 2025 for this project, but no date has been released yet on when renovations could happen to the McBride bathhouse.
Happening today, an all-way stop is coming to a Seaford intersection. That's according to DelDOT. The location is right here on your screen. That's Bridgeville Highway and Virginia Avenue and Woodland Mills Drive. The agency says the change follows recent sidewalk, curb, and drainage upgrades. And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, Fenwick Weekend Bonfire. We'll tell you what to expect at the event set for 4th of July weekend.
Also, Belmead plans debate. We'll show you why some people say more development would be detrimental to the area, but why others see the proposed ideas as a benefit to the community.
And row home collapse cause. What officials in Philadelphia say led to this massive destruction. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Coming up on 5:13 on this Monday morning, seeing lightning in the sky in Dover off to your north and east right now. 75 degrees there, and we're looking at more of those showers and storms moving through. Right now, Sussex County not seeing any storms, but the bulk of the storms offshore. And we're looking at quiet conditions around Salisbury and the eastern shore. That's the lightning we're seeing from Dover from these storms across southern parts of New Jersey right now. Aside from these storms, we're looking at dry conditions, but very warm and muggy conditions as we go through the morning hours. Temperatures out the door, yikes, mid-70s. It's that air you can wear, so really take it slow this morning. Warm and humid out the door. I gave it the green light, but then the yellow light this afternoon. You're going to have a hot car, and it's going to be very muggy, so take it slow. Make sure you put that little foily thing in the windshield, and watch for afternoon showers and storms, maybe some heavy rain and gusty winds.
One person is dead, 2 others hospitalized after a fire caused several Philadelphia row homes to collapse. This happened Sunday. It was just before 5 a.m. and involved 3 of those row homes. Police say K9 recovered the remains of 1 person while searching through the rubble. Also, an 82-year-old woman and a 63-year-old woman were taken to a hospital. Over 10 people who live in that area were told to evacuate.
Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin space company launched another crew into space Sunday for an 11-minute ride. The rocket launched from a site in West Texas with 6 passengers on board. This was the 13th human space flight for Blue Origin. Within just a few minutes, the crew reached peak altitude at 62 miles above sea level. They then floated back to Earth under 3 parachutes for a safe landing in the desert.
Delaware lawmakers are taking aim at rising car insurance costs. A new resolution, which has passed the House and the Senate, creates an automobile insurance reform task force. It will look at ways to bring down premiums, reform medical payments after accidents, which they say will help families keep more of their money.
Despite skyrocketing prices, Gen Z is managing to break into the housing market and often in creative ways. Financial services company Intercontinental Exchange reports that Gen Z now accounts for 1 in 4 loans issued to first-time home buyers. While the housing market has been tight for the last few years, there have been signs it may be softening.
A floral dress that Princess Diana wore to visit children in hospitals sold at auction. Get this, for more than $500,000. Julian's auction sold off dozens of items from the late Princess Diana's wardrobe. The auction house described the sale as the largest collection of the royals' fashion ever.
We're starting to see daylight on the beach in Ocean City. I'm sure we'll see a lot of beach umbrellas out here today, but keep an eye to the sky. It's a stormy start to the week. Some of those will be strong to severe, then drier and pleasant finally for the 4th of July and then into the holiday weekend. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:18 and you are looking live at muggy conditions in Dover. Bob, it's muggy all over Delmarva. What a way to start our Monday.
Yeah, it is. And on this camera recently, Matt, I saw some lightning strikes as we had some of those thunderstorms overhead through the overnight. It's quieting down now. Here's our storyline. We're going to be stormy as we go through today and tomorrow, especially the afternoon and evening. Watch for drenching downpours, maybe some local flooding. Damaging winds are possible, especially into Tuesday. Then mid to late week, improving conditions with high pressure, lower humidity, looking like a beautiful 4th of July. With temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Here's our radar replay You can see how these showers are moving southwest to northeast this morning. Some heavy rain and lightning with those, but those are now well offshore as required across Sussex County through Wycomico County and Worcester County, as well as we're seeing one cluster of storms off the Delaware coast and then another cluster across southern parts of New Jersey. Otherwise, things are beginning to quiet down. We have a stationary front to the north, but to the south of that, it is warm and muggy, and that's going to be the case today. We're looking at a stronger cold front across the Midwest and Plains with showers and storms across the Central Plains. We'll have to wait till Tuesday and Wednesday until we finally start to dry things out. Temperatures out the door, 76 in Georgetown, Millsboro 75, 78 in Lewis, Bethany Beach 74, so very muggy conditions. And once again, 2-point temperatures, very tropical-like in the low to mid 70s. It's that air you can wear and really no breeze to cool us off today. As we're looking at clouds this morning, and I think we'll see some breaks of sun mid-morning with temperatures in the 80s by noon, lower 90s inland, 80s and maybe even 90s at the beaches, 91 in Lewis by 2:30, 92 in Delmar, 93 in Millsboro. I think we will start to see afternoon and evening showers and storms. Some of those could be possibly strong to severe as it remains very muggy through the overnight hours. And then into Tuesday, a muggy start, temperatures in the upper 70s. Then as we go into Tuesday afternoon, lower 90s once again with stronger showers and thunderstorms with a stronger cold front sweeping through. This one is going to pack more of a punch, I think, with very heavy rain, maybe hail and damaging winds. And then looks like the showers do linger as we go into Wednesday morning, maybe some thunderstorms as well. A cloudy Wednesday morning. Then we finally start to clear it out with drier conditions into the afternoon hours. Watch out this afternoon. Feels like temperatures near 100 inland areas, and then a little better as we go into tomorrow. Marginal risk of severe weather today from Bucktown to Seaford towards the eastern shore. Maybe gusty winds and flooding rains. A better chance of severe weather tomorrow from Salisbury to the eastern shore to Dover. Lower chances to the southeast. Once again, gusty winds, heavy rain, and some hail. Much better for the end of the week into the weekend. The 4th of July looking great with lower humidity, 80s and 90s. And you can see how our muggy meter, the trend is downward towards the comfy level by Thursday into Friday. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, lower 90s today and tomorrow with that storm threat. Some storms into early Wednesday, 85, and then the humidity drops, 89 Thursday. The 4th right now looking great, 86, and then looking dry and warm into the rest of the holiday weekend. Congratulations to Loretta Nolan from Lewis on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
All right, thank you, Bob. In a story that we've been covering for you over the past few months, this land in Lewis is currently used for a horse farm, but may soon turn into houses and businesses. Bellmead Farm LLC is proposing a change in zoning which would allow for the construction of apartments and commercial businesses on this land. The organization Route 24 Alliance says they're concerned about the problems with more development in the surrounding Lewis area.
It will add an additional 6,800 vehicle trips per day to Route 24, which will be a 37% increase in traffic on Route 24.
However, according to BB Healthcare CEO Dr. David Tam, Sussex County currently has the worst doctor-to-patient ratio in the state and believes more affordable housing is a solution to the problem.
Still ahead, Fenwick Weekend Bonfire, how the town says locals can win more than just a good time this weekend on the beach. Don't go anywhere. Happening today in Salisbury, a grand reopening event for the tennis courts at City Park. This after the completion of a resurfacing project this month. You can see that area right here on your screen. The city says Mayor Randy Taylor will perform a ceremonial opening serve to officially welcome locals back. Today's event will take place from 5 to 7 p.m.
New in Fenwick Island, fire, fun, and stars all on the sand this weekend. Fenwick Island Beach Patrol is hosting its annual town bonfire. And organizers say the event features a DJ, silent auction, a 50-50 raffle, games, and t-shirt sales. And after sunset, the Dark Sky Table will help spot stars and planets using a free app. And this takes place again on Saturday, July 5th from 7 to 10 p.m. That's at the Bayard Street Beach.
Here are tips to go green this 4th of July from Maryland's Environment Team. The Maryland Department of the Environment suggests grilling greener by using lump charcoal or choosing gas, propane, or electric grills. Opt for reusable plates, utensils, and drinkware instead. Set up a recycling station, and they say shopping local at farmers markets can help lower carbon footprints.
Ocean City Beach Heroes OC continues to clean the town. The group is announcing dates and locations for July. Organizers say volunteers can join them tomorrow. That's at the 70th Street at 9 a.m. Other dates include July 8th, 15th, the 22nd, and 29th. And according to the town, supplies for this beach effort are available at City Hall.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And it was a hot and muggy weekend, but Matt, you told me you took advantage of the weather and you hit the beach.
Saturday was that? I enjoyed my time Saturday, at least where I was, Bob. Some good, tasty waves for riding.
Okay, tasty waves, yeah. I don't know if they'll be tasty today, 1 to 2 foot waves, so I don't know if they're in the tasty category, but watch out for showers and thunderstorms. Fenwick Island and Ocean City, you're in the low 80s. Have your sunscreen. UV index is very high. Rip current threat is low. Lewis, mid-80s for you. Rehoboth Beach, some showers. I think we do have that chance for showers and storms as we head into the evening. On the bay side, we're looking at upper 80s, close to 90 with that storm threat this evening in Cambridge. 1 foot waves on the bay. And then Crisfield temperatures into the upper 80s. We're in this warm, muggy air mass for the next few days with more showers and storms, but improving weather for the 4th of July. Much more on that coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on Coast TV News today, the McBride Bathhouse, 49 years old, no major upgrades, and still in use. What Denmark says is wrong.
Also, Senate bill uncertainty. What's stopping federal lawmakers from passing Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill?
And Delaware bills reach a deadline as the final day of the legislation session is here. We'll tell you what top issues could be left undecided. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Power partisanship. Delaware Democrats push for alternative energy plans. Republicans push back on a bond bill. And now one group is leveling blame for recent outages.
District 20 deadline. What is next to fill the vacancy in the Delaware General Assembly?
Beachside battle.
It's kind of almost shameful at times.
Denrick says a new bathhouse is needed at Cape Henlopen State Park. The opposition it is facing in the name of dune protection.
A stormy start to the week for Delmarva. Some of the storms could be strong to severe. Looking good for the end of the week as we head into the 4th of July. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
June 30th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
It's 5:31, final day of June.
I can't
Lisa,
believe
we
it.
are halfway through 2025.
Oh my gosh. I didn't really realize that.
This is the halfway mark.
Yes. Well, I was talking to my mom this weekend. She's like, I usually feel like June drags. No, not this year.
No.
It's already going to be July. And then I was thinking, well, then it's going to be August.
And then it's football season.
And then, like, I just can't get ahead. You got to enjoy the summer. But hot weekend, muggy weekend. We're going to bring in first meteorologist Bob Trahey. Because, Bob, this is an important week for the coast. We've got 4th of July coming up. Lots of people coming to spend some beach time.
I know, and a lot of pressure on the weather guy for nice weather. And I think we'll see nice weather at times and storms at times as well. Seems like the 4th of July just comes and goes so fast, as does the summer. We saw some showers and thunderstorms overnight with heavy rain and vivid lightning. Those have now since moved offshore. We're seeing those off the shore of Delaware now. Also some across southern Jersey. So things are quiet now across the peninsula with just muggy conditions right now, and really not expecting any more storms as we go through the morning hours. We have a front to the north separating some cooler air to the warm and muggy air over the top of us, and it's going to remain the same. Very muggy and warm. Mid-70s out the door. Millsboro 75, as is Laurel. 74 in Bethany Beach, and still very muggy with dew point temperatures almost matching the temperature. That's how muggy it is. This morning on on Futurecast, some clouds tonight. I think we will see sun, and it's going to be steamy out there again by noon. We're in the low 90s, a little bit of relief at the coast, but by mid-afternoon, low 90s with the humidity, maybe some showers and storms, and it's going to feel really hot, feeling like 100 from Salisbury to Millsboro and Georgetown. You'll get a little bit of relief on the ferry ride up to Cape May. I think we're looking good, light winds, but heads up for showers and storms as we go into the afternoon hours. If you see darkening skies, make sure you find some shelter.
Thank you, Bob. You are now taking a live look at Dover. Nearby is Legislative Hall, and we should see plenty of activity there in just a few hours, as today is the final day of the General Assembly for 2025. And our top story this half hour are the bills awaiting their fate, including Senate Bill 159. This is the one that would override the County Council's decision to ban an electric substation in Millsboro. The location of that proposed substation is right here, the now retired Indian River power plant that you see from our coast copter. On June 30th, the bill passed the Senate along party line votes, and now it is in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, the controversy over the bill spilled over into the $977 million capital improvement bill. It's better known as the bond bill. It requires 3/4 of the Senate to approve it, and Republicans had the votes to block it. Here's what the Delaware Sierra Club posted about the bond bill defeat and its connection to the Millsboro substation bill. Quote, while the Senate GOP is holding the bond bill hostage to shut down offshore wind, Sussex is having active brownouts in areas that wouldn't be facing that problem if U.S. wind were online and connected to Delaware. Now that led to this response by Representative Shoup. There are no brownouts, and the recent power outages in Lewis had nothing to do with the lack of offshore wind or with the Senate Republicans. The Sierra Club knows this, yet they are willfully spreading false information to manipulate public opinion, blaming Senate Republicans for a local utility issue we had nothing to do with.
When it comes to the fiscal year 2026, there's hardly any drama. It just needs the signature of Governor Matt Meyer for implementation. Last week, the General Assembly passed a $6.5 billion plan. It includes a 2% raise for teachers. Over $89 million will go towards state employee benefits and post-employment investments. It is expected that Governor Matt Meyer will sign it. After all, the new fiscal year does begin tomorrow.
Yeah, we're also nearing a deadline at the end of the week for House Speaker Melissa Minor Brown to issue a directive to the Delaware Department of Elections in order a special election for District 20. It was last week that Democratic Representative Stell Parker Selby resigned after she was unable to attend one day of the General Assembly this year. Democratic candidates will take part in a public forum on Thursday, July 3rd at the Lewis Public Library. Last week, Republican Nikki Miller confirmed to CoastTV that she hopes to run in the special election. Miller narrowly lost to Parker Selby for this seat in 2024. And this is the area of District 20 going back to 2022. It encompasses Lewis on the east side of the district, over to Milton and Harbison on the west side. Those areas are home to over 23,000 registered voters.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump wants to sign his sweeping domestic policy legislation by Independence Day on Friday. However, its fate is uncertain ahead of today's vote-a-rama in the Senate. Most Republican lawmakers are in support of that bill and want it to vote on, but they keep facing delays in the Senate. Democrats forced a reading of the bill that took nearly 16 hours over the weekend. Then they debated it for 10 hours. Now today's vote-a-rama technically could go on even longer. After that, the Senate has to actually pass the bill in order to return it to the House.
A handful of billionaires get a big break, while working people lose their Medicaid, while hungry kids lose access to food funding.
We have before us today a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver legislation to create a safer, stronger, and more prosperous America.
If more than 3 Republicans oppose the measure, it is likely to fail.
A Crisfield man is now facing charges as Maryland State Police are accusing him of a deadly shooting that happened in Somerset County back in April. According to troopers, 28-year-old Tyron Lee Ivey was arrested Friday morning in Seaford by Delaware State Police. He's charged with first-degree murder, second-degree attempted murder, assault, reckless endangerment, and several firearm charges. Police say the victim, 20-year-old Evan Neal of Crisfield, was found shot in a home on Coast Street on April 25th and was pronounced dead at the scene.
New this morning, if you have taken a trip to Cape Henlopen State Park and visited the beach, it's likely that you used the McBride Bathhouse. The building has been up since 1976, and DENREC says there have been no major renovations since the beginning.
Now, CoastTV News reporter Brandon Ferguson shows us the potential plans DENREC has for the site.
People walk through the McBride Bathhouse, headed to the beach. On your screen now is footage from November, a look inside the bathroom that DENREC says is outdated and old. That's what one woman CoastTV spoke with says is a major problem when visiting the state park.
It's a gem of Delaware. We bring lots of friends here, but the bathhouse definitely needs work. It's kind of almost shameful at times. It's so loaded with flies and sand, and people don't have any place to put their garbage, so they leave the garbage on the floor.
For local Charlie Hench, he doesn't see any problem with the bathhouse.
So I think it should stay the way it is. You know, why spend the Henlopen's money or Delaware's money unnecessarily?
That blue square on your screen is where original plans called for a new bathhouse to go on a dune just a few hundred feet away. The project secured $1 million in funding from a bond bill in fiscal year 2025. But there's been no date released of when renovations could happen at the McBride Bathhouse.
DENREC tells CoastTV that any plans could change depending on environmental concerns. At the Cape Henlopen State Park, Brandon Ferguson, CoastTV News.
Yeah, we got a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up next, Delmarva Mega Millions winner will tell you how much is going to one lucky Delmarvan as the jackpot reached for another drawing on Tuesday.
Also feeling fine in the fifth. The only inning the Phillies scored in was the only inning they needed in getting a series win in Atlanta. Stay with us on CoastTV News today.
5:41 on this warm, muggy morning. Spicer Brothers Cam in Salisbury 75. It just has that look, that air you can wear. As we're seeing storms that we had earlier moving offshore now. They're well offshore Delaware and across southern Jersey as well. But for now, we're just muggy across Delmarva. Not expecting any more storms this morning. There's a front to the north, and that could be the focus for more storms as we go into the afternoon. Temperatures out the door in the mid to upper 70s, 78 Ocean City, Dagsboro 76, Georgetown 76. Today's checklist, I would have the umbrella and raincoat in the back seat of the car just in case of the storms later today. Have a cold beverage and watch for dark skies later on today, the potential for storms, and have the sunscreen and sunglasses handy as well. And call the CoastTV First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
Person in Virginia has struck gold, actually about $348 million after winning the lottery. The ticket is the largest prize ever won in any Virginia lottery game. The winner has 6 months to claim the prize. The jackpot now resets to $50 million for the next drawing on Tuesday.
People braved the heat in Lincoln this weekend to raise money for equine-assisted psychotherapy. The nonprofit Compassionate Hearts held its fundraiser. There were raffle baskets, kids' activities, and opportunities to meet donkeys, horses, and cows right on site. At Compassionate Hearts and its program for the military, Courageous Hearts, licensed therapists work alongside facilitators who say being with the animals helps bring comfort and trust to patients who may not be at ease in a traditional setting.
On Sunday, the Phillies with an opportunity to extend their lead in the National League East while the Mets were being swept in Pittsburgh. The Phils attempted to win the rubber game of their series in Atlanta. Teams combined to score 20 runs in the first two games. Runs would be scarce in this one. Second inning, Ranger Suarez gets tattooed by Sean Murphy, and the Phils trail early after that home run. It stayed 1-0 until the fifth. That's when Otto Kemp pulls it down the line. Bryson Stott, he keeps running all the way from first. He scores, and we are tied at 1. Phillies would add another and then lead 2-1. Dicey situation in the ninth. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. The Braves, Stuart Fairchild gives it a ride, but only warning track power there. Phils get the win, 2-1. They now lead the Mets by 1.5 games. C.J. Abrams' 2-run triple capped a 3-run 11th inning. Nationals get the win over the Angels. And Dean Kremer allowed 3 singles and 7 scoreless innings. Orioles take a 3-game series at the Yards against the Rays. On the Orioles farm, the Shorebirds give up this 3-run tater to the Mudcats' Eric Batanti in the second inning. The Birds drop the series finale 4-2. The homestand continues tomorrow night against the Fredericksburg Nationals. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 6:15, it's Maryland Supreme Basketball League. Boys hoops there. And then at 10:30, it's the final score. And on the DSM Plus app, you can catch that Maryland Supreme League basketball game. And then at 6 p.m., also, you get high school girls basketball at the Crown Sports Center. At 6, high school boys lacrosse at DE Turf. And at 6:15, there's another boys basketball game in the Maryland Supreme League.
Vin Diesel has a big announcement about the last Fast and Furious movie, and Emma Stone takes on a new dark role. Here's Rick Damangella with today's Hollywood Minute.
Let's go for a little ride.
The final Fast and the Furious film may have a surprise for fans. Variety reports Vin Diesel teased the return of the late Paul Walker's character during an appearance at the Fuel Fest car convention. The actor did not provide more details, but said fans can expect to see the 11th movie in the franchise in April 2027.
The workers gather pollen for the queen.
Good morning, Corey. Emma Stone gets kidnapped in her latest role. Begonia finds the actress playing a high-powered CEO who is abducted by conspiracy theorists, believing she is an alien from another planet. Jesse Plemons co-stars in the dark comedy, which is set for release in October. An anime hit comes to an end. Here's a sneak peek at the latest film in the Demon Slayer franchise, Infinity Castle. This is the first of a planned 3-part finale to the global sensation and will hit North American theaters on September 12th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damangella.
A warm, muggy start out there. Dover 75. It's that air you can wear. And it looks like a stormy start to the week as well. Some of those storms strong to severe, then a drier and pleasant weather pattern for the 4th of July and continuing into the weekend. Your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:48 and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury this morning. Bob, you keep saying it's the air you can wear. It's not a phrase I usually like to hear because that air is thick, it is sticky, it's muggy outside.
Yeah, you know, Lisa, anytime you have the AC on in the house and the windows are all steamed up, that's when you know it's really muggy out, and really no change in that the next few days. Could be a little stormy into the afternoon with hot and humid conditions today and tomorrow. Maybe downpours and maybe some damaging winds, especially into Tuesday. And then mid to late week, just in time for the 4th of July, high pressure building in, lower humidity, upper 80s and lower 90s. We had a round of showers and storms moving through Sussex County earlier on with heavy rain and some thunder, nothing in the way of severe weather. That activity has moved offshore, so we're seeing that off the Delaware coast, southern Jersey. Otherwise, things have quieted down now across Delmarva with some breaks in the clouds. It's very muggy out the door as we have a stationary front to the north, dividing cooler air to the warm and muggy air that's over the top of us. And this front will continue to lift to the north, and we're going to be in this warm, sticky air mass for a few days as we have more of that heat developing to our southwest. There is a stronger front across the northern and central plains with storms, and that's the one that will be moving through tomorrow into Wednesday, finally drying us out and clearing us up for the 4th of July. Mid-70s out the door this morning, 75 Salisbury and Millsboro, 76 in Georgetown. Once again, those awful dew point temperatures in the low to mid 70s, making it feel just really super soupy out there. Here is Futurecast as we go through the morning hours. We're in the 70s and then quickly in the 80s. We're going to see hazy sunshine, hot and humid conditions by noon, lower 90s inland, lower 90s this afternoon. I think after 3 o'clock, definitely a chance of some showers and storms into the evening hours. Some of those packing a punch with maybe some heavy rain and gusty winds. Then very warm and muggy through the overnight hours into Tuesday morning. Very warm into the upper 70s, and then another hot, muggy day on Tuesday with upper 80s and lower 90s. Then a stronger cold front moves in Tuesday evening with very heavy rain. This one is going to pack more of a punch. Heavy rain, maybe some hail, and maybe some damaging winds as we go into your Tuesday evening, so keep that in mind. Then I think we're still looking at some lingering showers as we go into Wednesday morning, maybe some rumbles of thunder. Then we finally start to clear things out. Later Wednesday, the humidity starts to to drop as we go into Wednesday afternoon with temperatures into the mid-80s. Feels like temperatures this afternoon close to 100 degrees inland areas, so really be careful out there. Stay hydrated. Maybe not as bad tomorrow because of the cloud cover. Now, as far as the severe threat from Bucktown to Seaford and points north and west, we do have a marginal or low chance of severe weather, lesser chances to the south, but then those severe chances beef up tomorrow. Slight risk eastern shore, northern Sussex County, maybe damaging winds with some flooding possible and some hail with a marginal risk farther to the south. Then it clears out Thursday into the weekend, looking great for the 4th. Lower humidity, temperatures in the 80s and 90s, and on the muggy meter we start out in the miserable range, and then we finally start to see the humidity levels dropping as we head towards the 4th of July, which is looking fantastic. Comfortable humidity levels. Yay! Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Lower 90s today and tomorrow. Watch for afternoon and evening storms. 85 Wednesday. Morning storms and then clearing out, and then the humidity dropping on Thursday. 89. The 4th looking great. Lots of sunshine. 86 comfortable humidity levels. And the weekend upper 80s Saturday. And I think we could string together a perfect 4th of July weekend. Dry and a little warmer on Sunday and a high of 90.
On Tuesday, police started an investigation after they say a man was found dead in a car in Rehoboth Beach. This is the location right here. According to police, officers responded to Olive Avenue Tuesday evening for a report of an odor coming from a parked car. Upon arrival, they saw a dead man inside that car, partially covered. Police say it's being classified as a suspicious death.
Delaware State Police have issued a gold alert for 53-year-old Vanessa Johnson of Virginia. She was last seen in Rehoboth Beach on June 23rd. Now, she is wanted in connection with a death investigation. Police say she could head to New York City or the D.C. Northern Virginia area.
And the time is now 5:53, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pets of the day this hour are catching some morning sun. On your screen right now are Toby and Manny. As you can see, these two never miss a sunrise. And they were submitted to us by Andrew in Longneck.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yep, you scan that QR code top center there. You can get your friends to us and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
The time is now 5:56, and we're going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, Bob, we had a little excitement this morning with that thunder and lightning.
Yeah, some thunder. You know, we don't mind the noisy storms as long as they don't put out severe weather. We didn't have that this morning, but I did notice a lot of lightning across the sky, but those storms are now offshore. It's warm and muggy this morning, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. And then keep an eye to the sky this afternoon. Showers and storms isolated to scattered, upper 80s close to 90 degrees. Then that feels like temperature. It's going to be brutal again, near 100 away from the coast. Even at the coast, feeling like mid to upper 80s. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, lower 90s today and tomorrow. Tomorrow and into the evening hours, a better chance of severe weather. We'll have to watch for that. And then some of those storms could linger into early Wednesday, 85. We dry it out Thursday, 89, just in time for the holiday weekend. And I don't think we could have scripted a better 4th of July. Sunshine, 86. Low humidity, looking great for the fireworks that night. And I think that continues into the weekend with nice weather. Upper 80s Saturday, 90 on Sunday. And then it looks like maybe another rain chance as we head into next Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Bob. And coming up on our next hour, electric substation saga. With its likely passage today in the General Assembly, the move made by some lawmakers who are against the plans for Millsboro. All that and more when Coast TV News Today continues.